Hi, it's Jez here from nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So today I'm going to bring you the card that I made for the Stamp and Hop blog hop, and we had to case each other. So members of the hop, we had to case. So I am casing Kim Price. She's handmade by Kim. She's a fellow Pinky. We're both in the Pinkies team. I'm also a Pootler, but I'm also a Pinky. And so it's nice to give a shout out to a fellow team member. But I do love Kim's style. Always really, really elegant and beautiful, her cards. So I have taken this idea and not done a lot of difference apart from I changed the colour up. So I've gone a bit vintage with mine. Oh, I've got the ring light on there. Sorry. So let me show you how this effect was created. Now, I've only read Kim's blog. I know in that she said she used the Stamparatus and some sponge daubers. So, yeah, I may have done it exactly the same. I may have done it a little bit different. But I think the end result is pretty much similar. Okay, I'm saying bye-bye. That's because I've just filmed the goodbye. So yeah, stay tuned and I'll show you how I made it. So I have been wanting to do like vintage butterflies ever since I got this set, and I've just never got around to it. So this is the ideal opportunity of doing a case of Kim's card. So I've got early espresso, soft suede, crumb cake and Sahara sand. I've got sponge daubers and I've got the Stampin' Right marker. I've got the stamp mounted on my Stamparatus. I've got a quarter sheet here of A4 because that's the size of the card front. So there's a few that overlap off it, doesn't matter. And yeah, let's just get going. So I'm gonna be adding, I think I'm going to do one colour at a time, so that they don't get muddy, and I'll probably clean off in between. So I've got my dry and wet like board rubbers here, and yeah, let's just see what happens. So I'm going to start by showing you sort of initially what I'm going to do, and then I'll speed it up. So my thoughts are going in dark on the body, so I'm going to use the Stampin' Right marker, and let's get the little antennae first at the top of the reds. And having a Stamparatus really helps with a project like this. One of the reasons why I love it so much. So I often don't use two magnets, but I felt this one needed to have a magnet top and bottom. There we go, that's our antennae. So there's a little bit where I've obviously gone over a little bit of the wings, doesn't really matter. So let's have a little bit of body. Just going round. And see what that looks like. There we go. So that one hasn't come out much, so we'll just go over it again. There. That's a bit better. So now I might use soft suede in the centre bit. So that all the butterflies have got quite dark bodies. So I'm doing this as a card front, but I would also like to, if they turn out how they look in my head, would be cut them out to make individual butterflies for a junk journal. So giving that press down. Cool. Again, I don't know why that one's not stamping quite so well. It's probably me not actually pushing down hard enough. So go over that again. There. So I think they're building up quite nicely. And so now I think I'm going to move on with a sponge dauber. So I might do a bit of crumb cake. Get my crumb cake sponge dauber. And just do a bit of daubing. And I'm going to do these one at a time because I think they would dry really quickly. So that's really, really subtle. I think if I did all the butterflies at the same time, they'd, so it's that side, I want a bit more on. The ink would dry too quickly. There. Oh, I'm loving it. So that is what I'm gonna sort of carry on doing for this, and I will sort of speed this up, go not as fast as really fast, but slightly fast. So that is what I'm going to do now as I go round. Okay. So I'm just going to continue with using the sponge dauber, changing the colours and where I'm putting it on each of the butterfly. I'm doing one butterfly at a time because I think the ink would dry too quickly using sponge dauber. So now I am changing up to soft suede. So now I'm going at the edges of the wings. I'm not really thinking too much about what I'm doing. I'm just adding colour really to different bits of the stamp and having a look and seeing if it's stamped down, and yeah, and then just sort of working my way around the butterfly. I do then use my little board rubber things that I've made to sort of clean the stamps as like one of them, I don't know what they're called, but things people have made or bought, things that you can put over a stamping platform to help with the pressure, and I do actually think it works really well, so I might make another one of those just to do that with. So yeah, so now you can see the butterflies are coming alive there with as I add different inks. So now we're going in with the darker one, the early espresso. So we should see a little bit more of it now. Yeah, that's filling in quite nicely. And the nice thing about doing one that's sort of vintage looking is, doesn't matter about the colour, so I'm not really thinking about any particular butterfly and trying to sort of imitate nature there at all. Mind you, if I was using colour I probably wouldn't be either, but yeah, they're just pretty. So yeah, just working my way around. I think it's a very enjoyable process, this, and does make me feel a little bit like I'm an artist painting, which of course I'm not. but that is one of the fun ways of using the Stamparatus, sort of, to allow you to do this. I mean, you could go around the stamp set with your sponge daubers, apply all the different colours, give it a huff, and then stamp it. But then if you needed to fill in areas, you wouldn't be able to do that. So that's why I love this this crafting tool, because that's letting me do it, and because it always stamps in exactly the same place. So yeah, those butterflies are really growing nicely as I'm going round, and sort of towards the end it's just a matter of looking where I think a bit more ink is required on the different butterflies to make them look real. Right, so I'm just going to leave you now with a bit of music as I finish this off. So that is the result. So I need to cut this down to a card mat size. So, and there's a little bit at the top there where it overstamped. So I'm gonna take that top bit off there, so that will get rid of that. Oh, and an avalanche from what I've hidden up there comes. And then we need to slice down. I'm going to do 1/8 off each side, I think, to balance it up. So that's the card mat. And I was going to go for a thick Whisper White base and do a bit of tone on tone, and then I thought, oh, what about a crumb cake base? So I'm not 100% decided. I think I'm going to do the sentiment first and make my decision. I think I kind of prefer that, and I might do some inking around the edges. I think that's a subtler look than that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. For the sentiment, I thought I'd do a thinking of you card. Haven't made one of those for a while. So I've got my little strips. I always keep my strips, so when I'm cutting, like if I do a full sheet of cutting down for card mats, they end up with a nice little strip that's like 1/2 inch. very handy for our picker label punches. So I'm gonna stamp this in, which one shall I go for? I'm gonna go for crumb cake, because I think I'm gonna use some linen thread, and I think I'm gonna use my crumb cake blends on some pearls for decoration. So I think crumb cake will work. And then if I choose to change my mind and go for a crumb cake base, we're all cooking on gas. So I'm gonna, probably my head will come over to get this straight. Slightly over stamp that. So we'll turn it over, and maybe not press so hard, Jez. That's better. I'm not happy. I think it might need re-inking, because I do lots and lots of ink blending with it and putting sponge daubers in. It does tend to use the ink up a lot. Right. That'll do. That'll do. Quite happy with that. Right, so now my decision is, do I just do a little, I might just do a little flag. Have it coming in that bit so it doesn't cover too much of so just gonna cut that end off there, and then cut that end off there, so it's about 3 inches. Go on there, and then I might flag that end a little bit. Put this away. So to flag the end, you kind of go and put your glasses on, Jez. So I'm going up the centre, and then you go from the corner to the top of that mark you've done there. Give yourself a nice little flagged end. Liking that. I might trim off a little bit more here actually. Could just cut it, but I kind of want it straight. Yeah. I'll just shove that in there for now. So that's ready there. So let's have a few pearls. So I've got dark and light crumb cake and a host of other things that just want to get in on the act. So let's do, I'm not sure how much the light will show up, so I might do them all dark. I think that gives it a lovely colour. Might do it in 3 sizes. This is, Eagle Eye would notice this is old packaging. I've had this young, I had the first one I ever bought, packet I ever bought, and then I won some. So I ended up with several packs. They're the same, so I'm liking that. Although I think that perhaps they need to be the same colour. so we'll go over that one. And so we'll leave that to dry whilst I tie a bow. I think a little bow will be cool. So pull that. And yeah, quite like that. So let's snip them off. I've got a brand new pair of snips. I just need to get them out of the drawer, and I'm going to tie a ribbon on them so that I know they're my ribbon scissors, but those ones work. So let's put some pearls on. So I'm thinking I'll have one up there. We'll have one over there. And we'll have one down here. So now all I need to do is decide Whisper White or Basic White or a Cake of Crumb. Now that is popping more. That's popping more than that. I am actually thinking as well, I want a little bit of blending around it. So let me get mat here. Might do Sahara sand. And I might just come in a little bit round the edging to finish it off. Start with the lighter, and then if I decide it needs to be darker, I can go darker. If you start with darker and you decide it's too dark, it's too late. So what I'm deciding is if I need to do that on the sentiment as well. So we've got that. I do like it on crumb cake, I think. So where's my little sentiment and my bow? Because do I need to do any inking on the sentiment? And does the bow want to go there or there? I think there. So I think I will do a little bit of inking. So it's quite a bit darker when you use the sponge dauber. just the blending brush. Yeah, that's what I want. There we go. So let's just get them glued together and finished off. So I'm going to stick that flat and pop up that one. If I pop this one up, because of the pearls, it'd be large letter. And then obviously popping up the sentiments would definitely make it large letter. There we go. Some dimensionals for those. Some little ones. Where's my bigger ones? Right, I want this to be straight, so I'm going to get up. Gonna have that on there. I'm just going to put a little dot of Tombow, I think. Instead of a glue dot. Hold that there for a few seconds. There we go. And then of course it needs a mat on the inside. This one's a 1/4 sheet, so we'll cut it down. And I get another nice little strip there that I could use for something, although that's actually very tiny, Jez. There we do. They'll do for handles when I'm punching something little. So I could, and I'm going to, do a little bit of blending around that. To continue that theme of blending. And there we have it. that's my card finished. So hope you like that. All the details will be down below. You just click on that and it will take you to the blog post. I'll list down below everything that I've used in the making of this tag, and when you visit my blog, I'll have linked to Kim's blog as well, and the original blog hop, so that you can go and have a look at what who else of people have cased. Okay, that's the card I was casing, and that's the card I've made. Obviously different colour, but yeah, very similar. I've not really other than change the colour, I've not really done very much different to what Kim did. Added a few extra pearls and a bow. But yeah, really fun to do. So yeah, there's Kim. She's handmade by kim.co.uk. Do check her out. She makes some such beautiful, elegant cards. They're really lovely. Okay, see you again soon. Bye.